All right, welcome back to True Crime with Lamb Investigations. I am retired Sheriff Mark Lamb.
And I'm the official investigator, Janelle Lamb.
She is the official investigator.
We actually
have a private investigation company.
Yeah,
look, we're going to dive into the Nancy Guthrie disappearance, kidnapping. I have done, I don't know how many interviews.
50, maybe.
Maybe not that many, but a lot.
30.
I've done a lot of interviews about this, and not that I have any more information. I try to bring a law enforcement perspective to it. So if you've been under a rock somewhere and haven't been paying attention, because this has been all that's in the news, which is, timing is a little strange just because we had the release of the Epstein files, and this has actually dominated the news. It has actually dominated the news. But it's, look, this is a big case. Nancy Guthrie, her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, is an NBC host. So this kind of immediately took off. The media picked up on it.
And Savannah Guthrie, like I was telling him, he probably doesn't watch very much Today's Show, morning show, but I have seen her on that show, and she really is a sweetheart of a woman, just lovely, just really a lovely person. So,
and I think that's why so many people have really taken to the case. And obviously we do true crime because people are fascinated by true crime, and this has kind of been unfolding to everybody, not just America. I think people globally are keeping an eye on this case. And just to kind of give a quick recap, Nancy Guthrie, she's supposed to show up to church on Sunday. I believe it was 10 days ago. So not last Sunday, but the week before. She doesn't show up. So somebody gets curious or concerned, and they go over to the house and they find an open door. They find some signs of that she's not there. And now a lot of times people say, well, that should be a kidnapping case immediately. No, an adult is free to disappear at any point unless there's dementia, Alzheimer's, or any of those things.
No matter how out of character it may seem, they're still allowed to disappear.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're doing this, and we just got their pictures were released just a couple hours ago. So we're going to get into the pictures here in a second, talk about that. Just kind of setting the stage in case you're a little late to the game on what's going on. So ultimately, she's not there. They find blood on the front porch. The Ring camera on the front door is missing. The back door, front door's open. Then they find the floodlight on the side of the house is damaged, smashed. Her pacemaker. So basically, the Ring doorbell records something, which is what was released today. Kudos to them for being able to recover it, by the way, because initially they said there's no subscription. So the videos were recording but not being saved. And they must have gotten with Nest that was able to restore these cameras and get them back up. So now we're seeing these images.
And there was some blood.
Yes, there was blood on the front porch, which was confirmed to be her blood. Yeah. That's Nancy Guthrie's blood. So there was signs of foul play, which now is a missing person or a kidnapping. Prior to that, it's hard to justify the resources, but now it's a missing person. And there's been a couple ransom notes, which I frankly have been dubious about them from the beginning. One went to TMZ. Another one has been going to, I think, K-Gun, one of the channels in Tucson, saying if you don't meet these deadlines, which a couple deadlines have already passed, including one last night.
Yeah.
I don't think they're real for a couple different reasons. One, somebody was charged on one of them. On these other ones that the FBI, first of all, if there's any information that would allude to the fact that it was legit, you got to treat it as if it is.
Right.
And so they took those and said, okay, we don't know, but we're gonna kind of treat them as they're real.
You have to.
You do.
Yeah.
Here's what I thought the $6 million figure was weird. I thought it was weird that they were sending those to the news.
The Bitcoin I thought was weird.
The Bitcoin, that's less trackable, but I feel like it still is.
Well, and why is it Bitcoin is not like a stable thing, is it? It doesn't kind of go up and down.
A lot of scammers, we deal with scammers all the time, and scammers use Bitcoin. And the reason scammers use Bitcoin is because they don't have to go and deposit money into a bank that is federally monitored, FDIC. So it's a lot harder to track it. You can set up a Bitcoin account in some anonymous person's name, and eventually they may be able to track who that goes to, and that may, if that were to be paid out. But I don't really think they're legit. I don't think they were legit ransom letters for a couple of those reasons. And also, typically when you have a kidnapping, this doesn't feel like a cartel kidnapping to me either. This feels
They're way more brutal.
Yes, and they would have reached out and said, we want $6 million and here's proof of life. And we do get cartel kidnappings, especially people who agreed to pay the cartel, then don't. They tend to get kidnapped. But in this particular case, it just didn't have the earmarks of, and this was consistent with not just me, but a lot of different law enforcement, FBI, people who've dealt with the cartels. This felt more familiar. And I've been saying all along, and people don't like it because you're having to point the finger at, if we were to investigate this case, you throw a very wide net because you don't want people to get too far, too wide. You want to be able to kind of contain it. But at the same time, you have to look at the people who had the means and the opportunity. And then you start to figure out if there's motive. And the people with the most means and opportunity are family members or people who are familiar with them. And I've said all along that I think, as are most cases, over 90% of these types of cases end up being somebody that's really close to the family and also, or their family members.
I feel like it's usually, if it's a family member, it's either to keep information from getting out to the rest of the family,
or insurance,
a life insurance policy. Those seem to be like the two biggest ones.
Or something else. And maybe it's a case that wasn't a kidnapping, that something else was afoot and it went bad, and then they had to figure something out and they went into panic mode. Now this is kind of piecing back together. If you were not paying attention today, they haven't really had a lot of leads to go off of. They've been able to pull some security footage from Circle K. They've been working security footage from other businesses. This area is a very deserty, but there are a lot of custom homes in it. It's a big custom home neighborhood. Everybody's properties are pretty big. That brush is not easy to search. You can walk right by one of these desert brushes and somebody could be 2 feet from you and you wouldn't see them. So these are difficult areas to search. There's roads going everywhere. It's very dark. Part of the reason why I think it's somebody familiar is because it's very dark. Somebody, I think, had to have known where the camera was. Somebody had to have known that she was going to be there. Maybe they didn't. But a lot of it just feels very familiar to me. And this is kind of corroborated today with the videos and the images that have been released. And we're going to have Dayton put them into this video so you can watch them as we're talking, see the videos, see the facial. Anything strike you from these?
Well, I think they're going to be able to figure out who it is from these. I mean, first of all, they show the eyes. And we all know that your irises are the most unique thing about you. They're more accurate of telling people apart than a fingerprint.
Right.
So they're going to be able to scan these irises, hopefully, even though some of them are a little, flashed out. But they would have to be in the system to have record of their irises. But at least it's something to go on. And at least if it's something they're checking for people that they're talking to, maybe it's something they could get a picture of their iris and compare. I feel like that's going to be pretty important.
I do too.
Yeah.
He's got a ski mask on. He's got a backpack on. So
it looks so scary. Like if I was 85 years old or 84 years old and this individual came into my house unannounced in the middle of the night, I would really think I was being killed. It's pretty scary.
What they're going to figure out from these pictures
Which makes me
is
sad.
This one you can kind of see. He's got a coat on, a mask on. He's got gloves on.
He's got a backpack on of some kind.
So what you can look at here from an investigator standpoint, you're going to look at the clothes and see if now when you track somebody down, do they have those clothes? Maybe one of the family members. What about this holster? What about the gun that's in it? Those are all indications.
The shoes.
The shoes are fairly unique. Maybe not. You've got a lot to go off of there. You're right, though, as we start to look at some of the more close-ups, clearly,
is there a mustache?
He has a mustache.
Like a goatee of some kind.
And he has some little goatee or full goatee. Looked to me as if he had brown eyes. The other thing they're going to be able to determine is his height from this.
Yeah.
They will be able to determine his height, or at least get a pretty good indicator of what his height is.
Let me just say one thing, too. So as a mom, when my boys were like playing football, And all the kids are down on the football field. And they're, the teenage years, high school football. My boys would play football. I could tell who my kid was by the way they were standing in the football uniform. I almost said outfit. In the football uniform. I could tell which one was my kid with almost 100% certainty just by the way they were standing, the way they carried themselves, the way one knee was bent, one knee was straight. There was just a way that all of our boys stand the same. Someone's going to be able to see this and they're going to know exactly who it is.
I agree. And the clothing and the backpack.
Yeah.
Here's
the
one
position of the head on the shoulders, the whole thing.
I want to talk about this picture. Okay. I'm going to print it up. Let's close. First of all, this doesn't feel like a very high level operation. He's grabbing plants and trees trying to cover the camera.
But what is that sparkle in the teeth? Is that a grill?
That's what I wanted to point out to you.
I think he has a grill.
That was the first thing that I thought of is, does this guy have a grill?
Yeah, they're going to nail this guy.
Why else would that light flash off the teeth like that?
Yeah.
You're going to get a pretty good indicator. They're also looking at, the type of gloves he has. The eyebrows.
His eyebrows seem a little unique.
You kind of get a pretty good look at, sorry, you guys. There's a good look at the eyes again.
Yeah.
This is the best lead they've gotten so far. And now maybe they can corroborate it with the clothing. They can corroborate it with some surveillance video from maybe the Circle K or one of the other businesses. Just so you understand, this neighborhood, if you haven't looked at it on a map, like I said, it's a ton of custom homes. There's little roads that are not straight going everywhere, but there's only a couple egresses. Mm-hmm. So where people, or egress, so where people would come into the neighborhood or leave the neighborhood, there's only a couple of those intersections. And one of them has got a lot of businesses around. You're also going to pull up cell phone pings. You're going to pull up, because now you can maybe track down what cell phone pings were hitting in that area at that time, whether he had his cell phone out or he. It's clearly a he.
Well, clearly he. And the other thing too is maybe not even like the family members, but she probably had landscapers or housekeepers or somebody that was helping her as an older woman. I know she had family kind of nearby, but sometimes, you have people that come to your home to, even like a DoorDasher or somebody like that could have been, and they find out that her daughter is a celebrity and just automatically think, I can get some money out of this lady. I think that's a pretty obvious avenue to go down to try to maybe get some suspects in line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they know enough about the house, but they don't really know. And,
There's a familiarity. And plus they were at the house from like 1:47 is when I think these camera images were recording stuff. And then the pacemaker separates around 2:20
I'm
something.
confused about the plant. Why is he holding plants?
Well, I think what he's trying to do is he grabbed some brush from some plants and is trying to cover the camera. And I think ultimately he realizes, crap, I better just take this camera, because the camera was actually missing. But not before these images had gone to the look. It don't look like he's running a high level.
I mean, clearly that's what he's doing. Why else would you be holding plants up in front of a camera lens?
Somebody is going to see this. Somebody's going to see the clothes he's wearing. Somebody's going to see his gait, the way he stands. Yeah. They're going to see this. Yeah. And I think this could be the break that they've been looking for. They've checked the septic tank. They've gone through all the different things.
Manholes around the roof.
They've looked at the cameras. You learned that from
Hangover. Always check the roof.
Yeah, always check the roof. Probably shouldn't be laughing about it, but that is good. That was good. Yeah. So look, that's the update on it. I think it's only going to be a matter of time before they're tracking down this guy.
I hope they find her alive.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Yeah. Look, every day that goes by is diminishes the chance of finding her alive. The other thing is, a lot of people have been talking about the medication. She doesn't have her medication. Oh, I know. I was going to say a couple more things. Some people have been talking about the medications. We really don't know. Maybe they took medications. Maybe she says, I need my medications. Yeah. He pours some medications into a little baggie and takes them with him. We don't know what her pill count was before
Maybe they took
that.
her across the border where medication she needed was easy to get. Maybe they knew her well enough to know what medication she was on. If they had a minute to look through her medicine cabinet and had it, if they were putting together a good kidnapping, maybe they would think ahead.
Right.
Criminals are crafty.
Yeah.
I don't put anything past them.
And I also think that they underestimated the amount of national attention this would get.
Yeah,
I think that
sure.
there was a couple videos that the family did, heartfelt videos. Also, though, from those of us that have been in law enforcement, dealt with some of these cases, FBI, law enforcement, they kind of followed a script somewhat because what they said was, hey, we want to talk. So open up the line of communication, make an ask. And the ask was, we need proof of life, which if you were looking for the money, you would show the proof of life. So make an ask for the proof of life, say, hey, look, there's a lot of fakes out there. We need to see a real proof of life. And then the third thing was to humanize the victim, which they did. Both Savannah with her siblings, and the next day the brother did one as well. He said, look, she's a great woman. We love her. We want to be her back. And what it does is it humanizes it. Savannah last night did another video, and the video was a plea for help to everybody, but also I thought it was very purposeful. It's a plea to those who might be involved in this. A case like this, probably, even though we're only seeing one guy on the video, there might be an accessory to this crime somewhere else who facilitated information, driving, whatever it be. There might be somebody else involved. The way we catch bank robbers and we catch criminal syndicates and all these people is somebody gets nervous. And now when you see a picture like this come out, now criminals start to get nervous, and then they might give up some information. If you think about it, if you're a criminal and you could give up information and collect $50,000 and make it look like you were helping instead of actually part of the problem, they might do it. Or sometimes conscience gets the better of them and they decide, okay, I'm going to give up some information. So I thought that the video was not only a broad one, but it was targeted towards, if you are involved, please help us. And it's a plea for those people to maybe have a conscience. So let me know what you think. We're gonna try to do some reactions and keep you posted on what's going on here in the next few days and see what kind of developments we have. I've been so busy doing interviews, I haven't even had a chance to even break this down really. So let us know what you think. Are they going to find her?
Maybe people online will have some really good theories. I'd love to hear them.
I do it too.
Yeah.
I would love. What are we missing? What did we tell you today that maybe you didn't think of? Yeah. Some of these things, and now this is a big step.
Big break. It's
a big break.
Yeah.
And kudos to the FBI and the sheriff's office and Nest for being able to continue to work, because initially it looked like these files were corrupted. There was no way of getting them, but they have managed to actually get these files and these pictures. And now this might be the break in the case they've been looking for.
Yeah.
So
good. I hope they find her. I hope Nancy's tough.
All right.
Stay tough, Nancy.
Yes.
Yeah,
and please, if you know
this.
anything,
Yeah.
please call, share the information. Let's help the family out. So, and also one more thing, and I've been saying this, I also hope, because there's a lot of other families out there whose loved ones are maybe not getting this attention on a national level for the media, who are also missing, and in particular children. Children go missing to the tune of tens of thousands a year. I think it was nearly 30,000 that the NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, assisted law enforcement in on finding children. And then abductions that were not done by family members can go as high as 150 or more per year. So I would hope that we might see the same type of collaboration from the media, the same type of focus, especially for those children who go missing every day in this country. I think we owe it to society and to our children to protect them and to help find them. So hopefully, I mean, obviously we want to see this case resolved and that they use these resources to help other families as well. So let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, and hopefully we'll have some more information for you.